Well, yesterday it was snowing like crazy and cloudy, and now it is a beautiful sunny day. And we have a lot of snow on the ground. We just did a whole thing about how Minnesotans deal with winter, and this is how we deal with it. We step carefully through the snow because there's a lot of it around, and it is not warm. Whenever you get a lot of snow in Minnesota, it'll warm up to snow, and now it is 4 below zero currently. And that is a big pile. And yesterday I was talking about how Minnesota is a beautiful place to be sometimes in the winter if you're a photographer, because you can get some shots that you can't get in warmer climates. And here's a perfect example of that: an evergreen with snow all over its branches, and then a beautiful blue sky above it. That is great. I like it a lot. Also, look at the size of that snowbank. It goes almost as high as the garage. My goodness, that was a lot of snow last night. Well, it is now evening, and it is 8 below zero. I was thinking about doing a nighttime adventure. Wasn't sure what to do. I was going to maybe drive around until I find something, but we are under a wind chill advisory, says my weather app on my phone, and so I don't think that tonight is the best night to go cruising around town. So I think it's going to be a good night to just hang out at the apartment and think of something interesting to talk about. And there is nothing but snow as far as the eye can see out here, but look at that. A beautiful crescent moon on this 8 below zero evening. That's right. Winters can be beautiful in Minnesota, but that's not going to be the message of this video, even though it has been all the way up to this point. I think it's a beautiful night outside. It's time to think of a nice kind of a nighttime convo to get into here. Well, hello there, and welcome to another beautiful night for Tommy Travels the Second. It is our very first evening edition from the couch here. Usually it's before I go to work. And tonight I was going to go out and do something, but it's 8 below zero, and I'm just not feeling it tonight. I was kind of worried that I would just come off as lazy for resorting to the couch tonight rather than going to a location, but really when you think about it, there's content from this video from the daytime, nighttime, outside, inside. It's actually not too bad, so I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it here tonight. But what I wanted to do is talk about the future. Not just for this channel or anything like that, but in life, the distant future, like 16 years from now. I was talking to a friend about, the kids being born today, what life is going to be like for them. And it seems like one of those kind of conversations you have at night with a friend when you're sitting around a bonfire or hanging out at home, and you just think, hey, I wonder what this would be like, or I wonder what this does, or that kind of stuff. That's kind of what I wanted to do tonight. So if you're brand new to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on a thing, and I'll see you right after this. And so the premise of this video is for newborns that are around today, what will life be like on their 16th birthday? And I think that's a good time frame to look at, because if you look over the last 16 years, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook. Chances are if you had internet, it was dial-up or DSL, or something where if someone was on the phone, you couldn't be on the computer. Life was completely different back then. Nowadays, technology is so ingrained in us that you don't even think about it. It's just like, hey, I just got an alert, there's going to be a storm tomorrow. And then I check the 10-day forecast on my phone. No, back then you still pretty much had to watch the weather to find out what the forecast was. And so going forward, it's interesting to think about what the next 16 years is going to bring. And it's kind of weird that when you say 16 years from now, it doesn't seem like that long, really. But when you say the year 2035, it seems like the way distant future. But it's the same amount of time. And so what will life be like then in 2035? And so my very first prediction is that the kids being born in this era right now will be the first generation that will never learn how to drive a car. You can already see it happening. There are cars that are getting self-driving technology even as we speak. You can take your hands off the wheel and go on cruise control down the highway. You still have to pay attention, but it's all aiming right towards not being able to drive at all. Humans are dangerous, and computers will learn to do it much better and much safer than what we know how to do. And in fact, I think by the year 2035, it'll be so rolled out that we'll be telling our kids, you know, when I was your age, we used to drive these things around ourselves. It was dangerous. I can't believe we even did that. We were a bunch of maniacs back then, but now we've got the technology, they just drive themselves. And they'll be like, oh, sure, whatever. And so I think that'll be a very interesting thing to see develop, and it might even be before 2035 that it gets rolled out at the rate the technology is going. Now that I think of this next prediction, I'm kind of glad I showed a shot of the moon earlier tonight, because when we were looking up at the moon, that was pretty much all we were seeing. There was no planes flying overhead or helicopters, which there could have been, but there just weren't tonight. But in the year 2035, if you tried to do that same type of shot and recreate it, you wouldn't be able to, because there would be drones flying all over the sky. I really think that someday the quiet, peaceful, look up at the sky moments are going to be going away. We keep hearing about Amazon doing drone deliveries. Our thirst for getting things instantaneously these days is going to drive that technology forward. So if you order something, it can be there in about 10 minutes and it'll be delivered by drone. And if that's the case, then you're going to see drones every which way all over the skies. And I don't know if I like that idea. In fact, I'll tell you right now, I don't like that idea. I'm going to seem like an old coot maybe later on in life saying, well, I like the days when you can just look up at the sky and see sky. And there'll be a lot of folks in my generation that'll be saying that, and the kids will not care. I'm sure. They'll be happy to get whatever their new gadget is in about half a second, rather than waiting a day or two like we have to today. And so that is one prediction I hope does not come true, but I fear that it will. And so my next prediction about the year 2035, when the babies of today are 16 years old, they are not going to have a lot of the part-time jobs available that we had when we were kids. One of my first jobs was as a bagger in a grocery store. I bagged up the groceries and carried in carts from the outside and helped people out to their cars. Then I got promoted to cashier and did that for a long time. I don't think either of those jobs will be available at all in the year 2035. They have those Amazon stores that you can just walk into with a bag, take stuff off the shelf, walk out, and it's all charged correctly to your phone when you walk out of the store. Amazing. Now I suppose they still need people to go ahead and stock those shelves and some people to monitor the technology behind all of that, but maybe kids will be able to stock shelves like that. But who knows, in 16 years they may have computers and robots doing all of that stuff as well. McDonald's, another popular job for kids. It's already being automated. You can walk into a McDonald's today in some areas and you don't have a front desk person or a front counter person to order from. It's a kiosk that you go to, put in your order, and then it gets handed out to you, I guess. I haven't been to one of those locations, but they are getting rid of the front counter person for you to interact with. And I have seen a machine that can actually cook burgers and assemble them. I saw it on a technology show that I was watching, and it's in the very crude, raw stages of it right now, but in 16 years, with the way technology is developing, who knows? McDonald's could just be a thing that you go to, put in your order, boop, 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 and then your order just kind of shoots out of a chute somewhere or something. I don't know, but I don't know if there's going to be a lot of jobs available in that area. Even restaurants. You go to a restaurant now, you can order right from the table, and you can pay right from the table. You don't really even need a waitress, you just need somebody to hand your food over to you when it's ready. And they may even have robots for that. Unbelievable. With the way AI is developing, artificial intelligence right now, when I saw Watson from IBM beat all of the Jeopardy champions at Jeopardy, I thought, uh-oh, that could be a problem. And since then, computer has beaten the world champion at the game Go, and just through artificial intelligence, where it plays itself thousands and thousands and thousands of times, it just keeps getting better and better at it until it can beat the best human. And then they developed another program that beat that computer. So it's developing at an incredible rate. And when you combine that artificial intelligence development with robotic technology that's being developed, my goodness, it is scary to think how many jobs can be taken away over the next 16 years. I mean, unbelievable. If you put that type of smarts with the AI that AI is developing, like Watson, it's not just people like McDonald's folks or drivers, people that drive for a living right now that'll be out of jobs. It'll be doctors. There's already programs that can diagnose diseases better and more accurately than doctors can. And so if I were a parent of a newborn today, I would be pushing my kid to start a business of their own, be an entrepreneur, be creative in some way that a computer can't take over that job, or be somebody involved with developing technology. Those are the kinds of jobs that will probably be the ones to go after for the kids that are being born today. And my final prediction for the year 2035, the newborn babies of today, the way they communicate with each other will be much different than it is right now. Millennials have FaceTime, and they think that is just the bee's knees. Because we didn't have it when we were kids, so they think they're way up on technology. Well, their kids, it's going to be like science fiction compared to what it is right now. Because I predict that in the year 2035, kid will be able to sit in his or her own little bedroom area or on the couch, put on a pair of virtual reality glasses, and their friend or friends will appear right in front of them. They could be across the street, they could be across town, they could be in another country, and who knows, maybe even on another planet, for all we know. But they're going to be right there, as if they're right there in the room. And that's how they will interact with each other a lot of the time. And I know it sounds kind of strange right now, but you're already seeing it with some of the virtual reality technology that's being developed, not only in video games. You know, you can use your smartphone and get a virtual reality system and see some pretty cool stuff just as it is right now in 2019. Imagine 16 years of technological development. This is kind of at the Pong stage right now. If you make a video game comparison, in 16 years it's going to be light years ahead of where it is right now. And I believe that that will be a main way of communicating for those kids in the year 2035. And that is it for all of my predictions for the year 2035. And if you guys have any other predictions that you think might happen by that year, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Or any predictions you have about technology or the future, I'd love to hear about it. And if you guys liked what you saw here today, go ahead and hit like on my YouTube channel, and then go ahead and hit subscribe and the little bell notification next to it so you can be the first to know when a new adventure comes out. You guys, thank you so much for the support that you've given me so far on this channel. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to catch you on the flip side. Well, tonight, I'm going to hit. Also, they're in, that was fun to have a little talk like that and just until the And my final prediction for the year 2035. This YouTube channel, Tommy Travels II, will be up to 20 subscribers by that time in 16 years. A very short amount of time to gain 10 more subscribers. A guy can dream, right?